Good evening and a warm welcome to Crown TV Grand News. In case you've just tuned in, you're watching us on DSTV channel 277, GoTV channel 23, and on Topster channel 89. We're also coming live to you on our StarTimes applications, Facebook, as well as YouTube as Crown TV Zambia. Please remember to subscribe and indicate to us as to where you're watching us from. For now, let's take a look at the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. Former Minister NKOMBO seeks to join Constitutional Court case on independent candidates' eligibility. And 2 suspects in LUKULU murder and arson case killed in shootout with police during firearm recovery operations. And UPND manifesto launched as HICHILEMA urges Zambians to back its agenda. Coming up in sports news, 3 players to represent Zambia at African Chess Championship. With the details in the news tonight, I'm Esther Abrahams Daka. President Hakainde Hichilema has called on Zambians to give him more time to continue implementing his development agenda. The head of state urged citizens to become campaign managers for the United Party for National Development UPND, saying their support is essential to sustaining the country's development progress. Mr. Hichilema also encouraged voters not to become complacent by assuming the UPND has already secured victory in the next elections. He further stated that if re-elected, his government will work to ensure that every province in Zambia has an international airport. Mr. Hichilema was speaking during the official launch of the UPND manifesto for 2026-2031.
Scores of supporters from the United Party for National Development UPND and members of East Alliance partners gathered to witness the unveiling of the party's 2026-2031 manifesto. Addressing the crowd, President Hakainde Hichilema emphasized that Zambians must re-elect the UPND if the country is to sustain its current developmental trajectory. The head of state also called on all UPND and alliance members to take up the role of campaign managers, urging them to work tirelessly to ensure victory in the next election.
From today, Bali, HH is appointing you as campaign managers. Campaign for Team Zambia. Campaign for this beautiful country and what it can become.
President Hichilema further pledged that if he re-elected, his administration will ensure that every province in Zambia has a university, expanding access to higher education across the country.
Every province of Zambia will have a public university. Every province of Zambia. We want to be equitous. We want to be inclusive. Which are these provinces? Northern, Luapula, Northwestern, Western, Southern, Eastern. All of these will have universities.
The president encouraged citizens to vote not only for him, but also for all UPND candidates contesting various elective positions.
The president cannot work alone. Yes, the president's vision was for Bill 7 to bring women. But the president doesn't sit in parliament. He had to use members of parliament to vote for Bill 7 and this vice president. Understand the connection. Please, if you are unhappy about somebody, think of free education. Don't withdraw your vote. Don't stay at home.
Mr. Hichilema added that his government is pursuing ambitious development targets, expressing confidence that they will be achieved for the benefit and prosperity of all Zambians.
We will continue investing in energy. I told you the buyback of Bond B is connected to the energy investments. Solar, wind, and also more hydro in the northern corridor where we have more water of our country, such as Kalungwishi, close to 250 megawatts, because we have more water. We also have plans to continue generating more power from the existing power stations already by availing them more water. Don't ask me how. Read the manifesto. It's all there.
Mr. HICHILEMA added that his government is pursuing ambitious development targets, expressing confidence that they will be achieved for the benefit and prosperity of all Zambians. President HICHILEMA was speaking during the official launch of the UPND's 5-year manifesto for the period 2026 to 2031. This event attracted many other stakeholders. Blessings Mkandewe reporting, Crown TV News, Lusaka.
Two suspects linked to the murder, aggravated robbery and arson attacks in the LUKULU district have died after an exchange of fire with police during an operation to recover a firearm believed to have been used in the crimes. The suspects, identified as 41-year-old Nyumbo Mate Muwita and 25-year-old Chiteta Kayombo, were apprehended on 10 June 2026 in the Kashasha area of LUKULU district following ongoing investigations into the attacks that claimed 7 lives, injured 4, and left 6 houses burnt in Kaboi village. According to Western Province Police Commanding Officer Ray Hamonga, officers later escorted the suspects to the Pezo Bush area after receiving information that the firearm used in the attack has been hidden there. Mr. Hamonga says while approaching the location, the suspects allegedly attempted to escape and one of them retrieved a concealed AK-47 rifle before opening fire on police officers. He says police responded to the attack, resulting in both suspects sustaining gunshot wounds.
2 suspects, namely Numbo Mate Muvita, aged 41, and Chiteta Kayombo, aged 25, on the 10th of June 2026 in the Kashasha area of LUKULU district. Acting on information provided during investigations, police officers proceeded with the suspect to the Pezo Bush area to recover a firearm that was used in the commission of the offences. Whilst approaching the indicated location, the suspects attempted to escape, and one of them retrieved an AK-47 rifle concealed in the bush and opened fire on police officers. The officers responded to the attack in the lawful execution of their duties. During the exchange of fire, both suspects sustained gunshot wounds and were immediately rushed to LUKULU District Hospital, where they were pronounced dead upon arrival. Police successfully recovered an AK-47 rifle which had a defaced serial number, together with 3 rounds of ammunition. The firearm has since been secured as an exhibit and forms part of the ongoing investigations. The Zambia Police Service in Western Province wishes to reaffirm its commitment to protecting life and property and ensuring that persons involved in serious crimes are brought to justice in accordance with the law.
In other news, a Constitutional Court case seeking clarification on the eligibility requirements for independent candidates in the August 13, 2026 general election has taken a new turn following an application by former Cabinet Minister NKOMBO to be joined to the proceedings as an interested party. Mr. NKOMBO, who recently resigned from the United Party for National Development, UPND, and announced his intention to contest the Mazabuka Central Parliamentary seat as an independent candidate, says the outcome of the matter could directly affect his candidature and political interest, making his participation in the case necessary. Details in this report.
A legal battle over the interpretation of constitutional provisions governing independent candidates in the 2026 general elections has attracted the interest of former Cabinet Minister NKOMBO, who is seeking to participate in the proceedings before the Constitutional Court. Mr. NKOMBO has applied to be joined as an interested party in the matter, arguing that the court's decision could have a direct impact on his political ambitions. Having recently resigned from the United Party for National Development (UPND), he intends to contest the Mazabuka Central Parliamentary seat as an independent candidate in the August 13, 2026 elections. According to court documents, Mr. NKOMBO believes he has an important interest in the case and should be granted an opportunity to make submissions before the court, as the outcome may affect his eligibility to stand as an independent candidate. The matter was commenced by the Consortium of Civil Society Organizations for Good Governance and Constitutionalism, together with Clifton Chifukwe, as the first and second applicants respectively. The Attorney General and the Electoral Commission of Zambia have been cited as the first and second respondents in the proceedings. To support his application, Mr. NKOMBO has engaged Messrs. Malisa and Partners legal practitioners who filed the application on June 10, 2026. The Constitutional Court is expected to determine whether he should be joined to the case as it considers the interpretation of the legal requirements governing independent candidates. Kundej Sachingalesu Ngandu, reporting for Crown TV News in Lusaka.
Police have dismissed allegations that it is selectively handling cases arising from last week's political violence in CHAWAMA, insisting that arrests are being made based on complaints received and evidence gathered. Concerns have been raised by some stakeholders following the clashes between the supporters of the ruling United Party for National Development (UPND) and the opposition Tonse Pamoze Alliance, with accusations that only opposition members are being targeted by law enforcement officers. However, police spokesperson Godfrey Chilabi says the arrest made so far stem from complaints lodged by some UPND members and not motivated by political considerations. Mr. Chilabi says police investigations are guided by reports made to the service and available evidence, adding that anyone with information or complaints relating to the violence is free to report the matter to the police.
Following last week's violent clashes in CHAWAMA involving supporters of the ruling United Party for National Development (UPND) and the opposition Tonse Pamoze Alliance, the Zambia Police Service has dismissed allegations that it is handling the matter in a partisan manner. Concerns have been raised by some stakeholders who are claiming that only opposition members are being arrested in connection with the fracas. However, police spokesperson Godfrey Chilabi says the arrests made so far are based on complaints reported to the police and evidence gathered during investigations and not political affiliation. Mr. Chilabi has explained that some UPND supporters reported being victims of the violence, leading to investigations and subsequent arrests. He says police remain open to receiving complaints from any affected individuals and will act on all reports in accordance with the provisions of the law.
It's been trending video everywhere, the violence that was caused at one of the candidates in CHAWAMA, which is Mr. Mundu and the like. Yes, we appreciate that. We saw that happened. What we are waiting for as police is a formal report at the police station so that we institute investigations. Cases like malicious damage to property, cases like assault, and other cases, we will need someone to go to a police station so that we record the statements, they quantify the stolen property. If someone was assaulted, we will need this person to come to the police station, medical report form issued so that they are attended to. As assault case is constituted out of that complaint. So we are not closing our door. Our doors are open as Zambia Police Service. Whoever has a complaint, let them feel free to come to a police station.
Meanwhile, Mr. Chilabi has further assured the public that the Zambia Police will remain professional, impartial, and committed to ensuring that all those found wanting are brought to justice, regardless of political affiliation.
Non-selective in our application of the law. Equally, Kabwe, there was an incident. The other group, it was proposing violence. They were arrested and they were given police bond. There was also another group that went to cause damage, to the property, the entertainment system, that the other PA system that was being used. Dockets have been opened. In that case, we have malicious damage to property as well as assaults. Dockets have been opened, and we are pursuing the suspects, regardless of which party they are coming from. Right. And one of the key suspects that we mentioned in that malicious damage to property is a man called Mr. Etole, who is on the run, and we are pursuing that suspect so that he can face justice. And that's what we are doing.
For Crown TV News, Tawanda Munyuki.
In other news, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Permanent Secretary in charge of Administration, Gabriel Pollen, is concerned about the low pace on the rehabilitation and upgrade of a 10.1 kilometers of road in SOLWEZI district. Speaking during the inspection of selected roads in SOLWEZI district, Mr. Pollen says the road works being done by the government are a reflection of inclusive development that the government is undertaking. Dr. Pollen has since called on the contractors to expedite works, stating the government has released 95.4 million kwacha towards the road works.
The piecemeal nature of work, where work starts in on one location, and then they stop for a bit, and then works are also being done to another location. We want to encourage the contractor to engage the subcons and ensure that the works are being completed on time. And there's also an issue of prioritization of specific types of works. So for example, here we have box culverts that were just put here, but there's been no further works that have been done. So in light of the rainy season and the criticality of the crossing area here, we expect the contractor or the subcontractors to prioritize this particular section of the road to ensure that these works are brought to finality.
The main thing we appreciate to start with what the PS has pointed out. We are very much alive about the piecemeal nature, but this was, it started when there was a rain season, and during rain season in this particular area we couldn't work, and it was literally impossible to divert traffic. That's why we had to go to stadium where it was possible.
Appreciate that the contractors moved in on the last part of the road where we are almost being assured that we are going to complete these works. And also it shows that he is also willing to tow the talk that the president wants. The president gave us 10.1 kilometers for us to urbanize Solwezi. The biggest cry of the people of Solwezi has always been roads, roads, roads and roads. And the president came to our aid by giving us 10.1.
We now go to the courts where our staffer Kundes Chisingelesu reports that a witness in the ongoing cyber fraud case involving Lusaka businessman Mambwe Zimba has told the Lusaka Magistrate Court how he reported a Facebook post falsely depicting President Hakainde Hichilema lying in a casket after finding the content misleading and disturbing. The testimony was heard as the trial against Zimba got underway before Magistrate Webster Milumbe. The matter has been adjourned to July 10, 2026 for continuation of trial proceedings. The details.
The trial of Lusaka businessman Mambwe Zimba, who is facing a charge of prohibition of computer-related misinterpretation and computer fraud, commenced before Lusaka Magistrate Webster Milumbe, with the state calling its first witness. Zimba is accused of intentionally and without lawful authority inputting computer data that resulted in inauthentic information on February 22, 2026. The alleged post published on the Facebook page Zambia for All 2026 was captioned as I quote, "Nalumango pays tribute to under 5 politician," end of quotation mark, and depicted President Hakainde Hichilema lying in a casket, a charge that he has since denied. When the matter came up for trial, the state informed the court that it was ready to proceed. However, the defense indicated that it was only partially prepared, explaining that the case had been allocated to them just a day earlier and requested an adjournment of cross-examination to allow time to obtain full instructions from their client. The state's witness, Teddy Kabika, a 44-year-old businessman, testified that on February 22, 2026, around 10 hours, he was browsing Facebook on his Infinix mobile phone when he came across a post on the Zambia for All 2026 page showing President Hakainde Hichilema appearing dead in a coffin. He tells court that the image shocked him and prompted him to call his friend Sylvester Monga to verify whether the president had indeed died. Mr. Kabika says Mr. Monga initially doubted the information and later called him back to confirm that the post was false, adding that the page was known for publishing negative content about the president. Concerned by what he described as a harmful and misleading depiction, Mr. Kabika decided to report the matter to Central Police, stating that such conduct should not be allowed to continue. He further testified that he took a screenshot of the Facebook post and later printed it from his phone before submitting the matter to the police. When asked whether he knew the individual responsible for publishing the post, Mr. Kabika tells court that he only knew the Facebook page on which it appeared and could not identify the person who posted it. Following the witness's testimony, the defense renewed its request for an adjournment to allow counsel sufficient time to receive instructions from the accused. Magistrate Milumbe adjourns the matter to July 10, 2026, when the trial is expected to continue with cross-examination of the witness. Kundej Sachingalesu Ngandu, reporting for Crown TV News in Lusaka.
We now come to the segment we call Letter to the President, an opportunity that you have to write your concerns to the head of state. You can SMS or WhatsApp your letter to 0974 314807. Please, as you write, avoid vulgar language. Tonight's Letter to the President reads:
Dear Mr. President, I write to you as a concerned citizen who is deeply committed to the progress and prosperity of our nation. As President, you carry the immense responsibility of leading Zambia through both opportunities and challenges, and it is in that spirit that I respectfully share my thoughts. While your administration has made notable efforts in advancing national development, many citizens continue to face significant economic and social hardships. There is a growing perception among some members of the public that their realities experienced by ordinary Zambians may not always be fully reflected in the information reaching your office. Strong leadership is strengthened by honest counsel. It is important, Mr. President, that those entrusted with advising you present an accurate picture of the challenges facing citizens, including concerns that may be uncomfortable but necessary to address. Open and truthful communication between leaders and the people is essential for effective governance. Your Excellency, sir, I humbly encourage you to continue engaging directly with communities across the country, listening to diverse perspectives and ensuring that the voices of ordinary citizens are heard at the highest level of decision-making. Such engagements, Mr. President, can help build trust, strengthen public confidence, and guide policies that respond to the genuine needs of our people. Zambians desire leadership that remains connected to their daily struggles, listens attentively to their concerns, and acts decisively to improve their lives. Addressing these concerns will not only strengthen national unity, Mr. President, but also reinforce the bond between the government and the people it serves. My sincere hope is that these observations will be received in the constructive spirit in which they are offered for the benefit of our nation and future generations. May God grant you wisdom, strength, and guidance as you continue to serve the people of Zambia. This letter is coming from a concerned Zambian citizen.
Let's now take a look at our evening weather forecast for Thursday, the 11th of June 2026. A moderate and relatively moist airflow from the southeast continues to influence the weather over most parts of Zambia, resulting in mainly sunny and mild to warm conditions. Taking you to northwestern Copperbelt, Luapula, northern Muchinga, eastern central Lusaka, southern and western provinces, the weather is expected to to have clear skies, windy at times, and mild to cool. This weather forecast is produced by the Zambia Meteorological Department under the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. This is Crown TV Grind News. We take our first break. We'll be right back.
On a busy day in Lusaka, right in the middle of a vlogging, Mr. Simon Mwela's phone battery died. Well, he knew what to do next. He called Zambia's top cell phone and accessories dealer. In a flash, problem solved. Across town, Dr. Siatwambo was getting ready for a presentation when he realized that his PA forgot something. A quick call to Mobile City and his projector screen was delivered in no time. Meanwhile, Vana Fiasasa was about to leave for the village when she remembered she needed a phone upgrade. One call to Mobile City and a new phone arrived just in time. Vana Fiasasa snapping a selfie before hitting the road. But wait, I thought the other guys were in a hurry. For free, fast and reliable delivery, trust Mobile City. Beware of scammers. Mobile City Delivery. You order, we deliver.
This June, Topstar is standing up for heat. Why shiver from boredom when Topstar can warm your home with exciting entertainment? Oh my God! Antenna Classic OD Smart. Get ready for unlimited blockbuster movies and captivating telenovelas on TNT and Novella E+. Enjoy endless drama, action and excitement on Star Life, Filmbox, AMC Movies, Z Cinema and many more. And because the little ones deserve the very best, Topstar is enhancing kids' entertainment with their favorite cartoon channels, including ST Kids, Cartoon Network, Baby TV, Boeing, CBBS and more. That means more entertainment, more family time, more value for your money. Visit your nearest Topstar business hall or authorized dealer today to get your Topstar decoder or simply dial *115# to subscribe. Don't miss a single moment. Topstar. Enjoy digital life.
We continue with the news. Over 1,100 students from DMI St. Eugene University have graduated in various faculties of learning at the university's 18th graduation ceremony held under the theme, The Evaluation of AI in Tertiary Education. Addressing the graduates, President of the University Council of DMI St. Eugene University, Dr. TXA Anath has urged the graduates to become job creators and not merely job seekers. Meanwhile, guest of honor, Ministry of Education, Permanent Secretary Dr. Kelvin Mambwe has commended DMI St. Eugene University for its contribution to improving education standards through the upgrading of teachers.
After years of dedication, sacrifice, and countless hours spent studying, the smiles and celebrations seen here reflect a journey that has finally reached a rewarding milestone. These are the graduates who endured the pressure of assignments, examinations, and late nights of preparations, and today, they proudly walk away with their qualifications. These over 1,100 students from DMI St. Eugene University have graduated at the 18th graduation ceremony in various faculties of learning, joining the growing number of skilled professionals ready to contribute to society and national development. Addressing the graduates, President of the University Council, Dr. TXA Anath, encouraged the graduates to look beyond seeking employment and instead become job creators, using their knowledge and skills to develop innovative solutions.
As we celebrate 1,118 graduates, we celebrate the growing contributions towards higher education development in the country. Our nation needs innovative thinkers, skilled professionals, ethical leaders, visionary entrepreneurs with a discipline. At BMA St. Eugene, I can assure you, to the guest of honor and the team, we have inculcated the habit of being disciplined to all our students, all our graduates.
Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, who was the guest of honor, Dr. Kelvin Mambwe, praised the university for its role in improving education standards, particularly through the graduation of 885 teachers who upgraded their qualifications under the Institute of Virtue and Distance Learning.
I'm in this regard particularly pleased to note that at this graduation ceremony, 885 teachers are graduating in various disciplines under the Institute of Virtual and Distance Learning after successfully upgrading their qualifications. This is a significant contribution towards government's commitment to ensuring well-qualified and competent teachers under the leadership of the Republican President, Mr. HICHILEMA. These teachers are needed at all levels of the education system to enhance quality education provision in our schools across the country.
As the graduates step into a new chapter of their lives, they carry with them the values of discipline, excellency, and service instilled during their time at the university.
As you celebrate this significant milestone, remember that education is not merely a pathway to personal success. It is also a noble call to service in the spirit of self-giving and responsibility for others. The knowledge, skills, and value you have acquired should inspire and empower you become agents of positive change with your communities.
The journey of becoming what they have long dreamt of has now officially begun. Reporting for Crown TV News in CHAWAMA District, Chanda Mwango.
The Center for Trade Policy and Development has commended the high participation of bond holders in Zambia's Eurobond buyback, with a 97.85% accepting the government's offer. The CTPD researcher for public finance, Robinson Nakambo, says the move could help reduce costly external debt and support investment in the electricity sector. However, Mr. Nakambo says the detailed analysis is needed to determine whether the deal will provide real savings for Zambia and improve the country's debt position. He adds that details of the African Development Bank financing must be assessed to understand its impact on the country's debt levels.
The Ministry of Finance launched a tender offer to repurchase Zambia's $1.6 billion Eurobond due in 2053. This transaction is being supported by $600 million loan from the African Development Bank and an additional $65 million incentive to encourage the bondholders to participate. The Center for Trade Policy and Development has reviewed the preliminary results of the tender offer and commends the government for achieving a participation rate of 97.85%. CTPD further welcomes the efforts to replace expensive external commercial debt with more affordable financing that is linked to strengthening Zambia's electricity infrastructure and reducing future debt obligations. However, a comprehensive net present value analysis of the bond obligations is required to fully determine whether the buyback creates value for the country or whether the country spends more than it saves. Furthermore, the favorable terms from the African Development Bank loan isn't enough information. So we also require information on the interest rate, the repayment schedule, and maturity of a loan and grace period as well to fully assess the overall impact of that loan to Zambia.
The Emerald and Semi-Precious Stones Mining Association of Zambia has backed government's stance on rescue operations involving illegal miners. The association says the focus should instead be on preventing illegal mining through formalization rather than risking more lives during dangerous rescue missions. Organization President Victor Kalesha says there is no justification for illegal mining when the government has already introduced policies and guidelines aimed at making artisanal and small-scale mining safer and more organized.
Following government's recent position on rescue operations involving illegal miners, the Emerald and Semi-Precious Stones Mining Association of Zambia, ESMAZ, has backed the move, saying the focus should be on preventing illegal mining rather than repeatedly risking lives during rescue operations. ESMAZ President Victor Kalesha says there is no need for illegal mining when government has already put in place different policies and guidelines aimed at promoting safe and well-organized mining. Mr. Kalesha has noted that illegal mining not only exposes miners to danger, but also puts rescue personnel at risk while depriving the country of revenue through unpaid taxes. However, he says addressing the problem requires more than penalties, arguing that many small-scale miners are pushed into illegal operations by costly licensing procedures and complex regulatory requirements. Since called on governments to simplify licensing processes, reduce associated fees, and provide financial support to help miners transition into the formal sector. Mr. Kalesha has also urged authorities to intensify sensitization campaigns and work closely with mining associations to promote compliance and safer mining practices. He says making legal mining more accessible remains the most sustainable way of reducing accidents, protecting lives, and increasing revenue collection for the country. For Crown TV News, Tawanda Munyuki.
We take our second break. We'll be right back.
Numerous cases of people falling asleep have been reported across the African continent. No one can explain this phenomenon.
With 24/7 FIFA World Cup coverage, sleep can wait. Everything can wait.
Catch all 104 matches from as little as 255 kwacha, only on DSTV.
Landeni tuminene amuleke lumitiseze
shiteni tumiretere abuna tu afyanta manga fulani kimwai kibati wanu na fyata chizo in the mix abalala pandalama ba fyanta ma
mwakokola sana okwebati mshebai nchipekita mwesabene bamakoeni mu Zambia namba 3 wani chimpundula asho aba umya bakosereko
kuwina kumobo city ukutamba no kuwina kila mulungu pasondo ku Crown TV nenshita ya 19 sate ifya kuwina.
Mobile City, the phone's paradise.
Everyone wonders why I'm always jovial and happy. Every day, every time. At work, even under pressure. At play, always under control. Even with Bay, I always shine. And today, I get to share my secret companion, Best Kombucha. Gives me the energy but also boosting my immune system as I go by my day-to-day activities.
Toilette, mami, we best
This sports news is sponsored by Nutricom, the manufacturers of Best Kombucha and Divine Power Kombucha.
And now in our sports news, 2026 Glasgow Commonwealth Games bound team unveiled. But for the details, here's a word from our sponsors.
Everyone wonders why I'm always jovial and happy. Every day, every time. At work, even under pressure. At play, always under control. Even with Bay, I always shine. And today, I get to share my secret companion, Best Kombucha. Gives me the energy but also boosting my immune system as I go by my day-to-day activities.
Toileta mami, we best kombucha sonwemu. Toileta daddy, we best kombucha sonwemu. Iye na ni best kombucha. Best kombucha. Iye na ni mwa kombucha.
Now you know.
Best kombucha. Iye na ni best kombucha. Nutricom best kombucha.
And now the details in our sports news. The Chess Federation of Zambia President Leslie Chikuse has revealed that only 3 players will be supported for the Africa Individual Chess Tournament. The 3 players include men's national champion, international master I.M. Chitumbo Mwali, women's national champion Lubuto Bwalia, and Andrew Kayonde. Chikuse says this is because the Federation has not enough resources to support more players. He has called on the corporate world to come on board and support the players. He has called on the corporate world to come on board and support other players. He is confident that the 3 players will make Zambia proud. The African Chess Individual Championship will be held in Botswana from the 18th to the 27th of June 2026.
The winner of the Africa Individual becomes a grandmaster, and for the past since 2011 we have not had another grandmaster, and it's very competitive, of course. Last time our player Chitumbo Mwali came out third, almost getting it to become a grandmaster. But this time around it's closer at home. It's only here in Botswana. The environment, the climatic patterns are not very different. We're expecting that we are going to perform much better. Lubuto has shown a lot of prowess. She has won a lot of tournaments. So for the 2 going into Botswana, we expect that they will be able to win that tournament, and maybe we may produce another grandmaster. But as I say, there are also international masters like Gillian Wadia. We have international masters like Richmond Piri. We have international masters like Andrew Kayonde will also be there. We qualified by virtue of winning the zone 4.5. So he will also be there. So we'll also have Andrew Kayonde, who is fully sponsored because of having won the Zone 4.5 chess championship.
National Olympic Committee of Zambia President Alfred Foloko has officially unveiled the Zambia team for the 2026 Commonwealth Games scheduled to take place in Scotland from the 23rd of July to the 2nd of August 2026. Foloko says the prestigious multi-sport event will bring together approximately 3,000 athletes from 74 nations and territories across the Commonwealth, competing in 10 sports and several para-sport events. Here are the details.
The National Olympic Committee of Zambia has conducted a media awareness workshop aimed at enhancing ethical standards in sports journalism and promoting responsible reporting among journalists. The event was held under the theme Strengthening Media Excellence in Sports Reporting towards the Olympic and Commonwealth Games. The workshop sought to equip sports journalists with the skills and knowledge needed to provide balanced, accurate and professional coverage of sporting events. Speaking during the workshop, NOCZ Secretary General Boniface Kambikambi says the initiative would help journalists uphold ethical reporting standards by presenting all sides of a story rather than taking a biased position.
A number of areas that we have aligned in the program. One of them is we'll talk a little bit about sport law, so that that's an area that is key for athletes and administrators, team managers, and so on, to begin to understand how do we influence or support athletes, particularly those athletes now begin to aspire for money and so on, in terms of what does it go and how does it go. And so we like that yourselves have that information as well, in order to support that. And you know that we are very key at integrity, and that journey can only work properly for ourselves, for the athletes, for the community, if it is also spoken about by media.
At the same event, NOCZ President Alfred Foloko officially unveiled Zambia's team for the 2026 Commonwealth Games, which will be held in Glasgow from July 23rd to August 2nd, 2026.
On behalf of the National Olympic Committee and the Commonwealth Games Association of Zambia, I am honored to officially unveil Team Zambia for the 2026 Commonwealth Games, scheduled to take place in Glasgow, Scotland, from the 23rd of July to 2nd of August 2026. This prestigious event, multi-sport event, to bring together approximately 3,000 athletes from 74 nations and territories of the Commonwealth, competing in 10 sports and several para-sport events. Zambia is proud to be part of this global sporting celebration as our athletes prepare to compete against some of the finest talent from across the Commonwealth. This unveiling marks a significant milestone in our national sporting calendar as we present a team of dedicated athletes, coaches, medical personnel, and officials who will represent the nation with pride, determination, and excellence on the international stage.
Mr. Foloko says the prestigious multi-sport event is expected to bring together approximately 3,000 athletes from 74 nations and territories across the Commonwealth, competing in 10 sports disciplines, as well as several para-sport events. Journalists were encouraged to continue upholding professional standards as the country prepares for major international competitions, including the 2026 Commonwealth Games. Kundej, Sachingalesu, Ngandu, reporting for Crown TV Sports in Lusaka.
Let's get a word from our sponsors once again.
This sports news is sponsored by Nutricom, the manufacturers of Best Kombucha and Divine Power Kombucha.
Our top stories once again. Former Minister NKOMBO seeks to join Constitutional Court case on independent candidates' eligibility. And 2 suspects in LUKULU murder and arson case killed in shootout with police during firearm recovery operation. UPND manifesto launched as HICHILEMA urges Zambians to back its agenda. And in sports news, 3 players to represent Zambia at the African Chess Championship. That's it for the news for tonight. Thank you so much for having been with us. I've been your anchor, Esther Abrahams Daka. Good night.